What's up, everyone? It is your girl Huda Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into the worst eyeshadow palettes of 2022. So we know I tried lots of eyeshadow palettes, so I had plenty of eyeshadows to pull out and throw in this video. Unfortunately, I mean, I hate when I try eyeshadow palette I don't like, but at the same time we have to be realistic. I'm not gonna like everything. That's just an unrealistic expectation to have. So without further ado, let's get into it. I am sad to say that I have one of my like all-time favorite brands in here that I found a couple of years ago. But you know, like y'all saw in the video how the eyeshadow didn't work for me and why it's in this video. So, you know, we're just gonna get there when we get there. So I'm gonna start off with Huda Beauty and these color block palettes. Honey, these were terrible. Like, this blue-green situation was a hot mess. Like, the cake liner was not it, and then like the colors in here just did not do it. I don't know where she made. Is this one of them ones made? Oh, it's made in China. Not that everything made in China is bad, but I noticed like when she has these made in China, sometimes the quality isn't as good as other ones. So here's what the blue-green one looks like. I was disappointed in this one. I like the purple-orange a little, or the orange-purple one a little bit better, believe it or not. And y'all know I'm not really big on orange, but you know, this one worked out better than that one did. But this one is just okay as well. I think I like the cake liner in this one a little bit better as well, and I feel like this one performed better than the blue green. And y'all know I was more excited about the blue green than this one, but this one just totally disappointed me. I don't know what it is, but the form in these is not it, and then the cake liners seem like they're really difficult to work with. The cake liners in the Cash Beauty palette are better if you are interested in the palette that comes with cake liners. I feel like those are better. The ones in her Color Trip palette, they were better. Some of those were hit and miss though too. Like I tried the red one and I wasn't really impressed with it, but the majority of the ones I tried were fine. Next, of course, y'all know I have Colourpop. I tried a few Colourpop things this year. I try a few Colourpop things every year because, you know, Colourpop comes up with so much. I try to only buy what interests me or what I feel like will interest you, because at the end of the day I get stuck with all this. So if y'all not necessarily crazy about it, I try not to rush out and get it. But if this color store intrigues me, then I'll buy it. So I have this Shell Shocked palette. The other one I got in this packaging I liked okay. I don't know what it was about this one, but it just wasn't giving. She wasn't serving. The color story is great. It has too many sequin shadows in my personal opinion, and then the two shades that, you know, aren't sequin I can't use. So the shimmers in here aren't great. The mattes in here aren't that great. It's just a mediocre palette with a pretty color story. That's what it came down to. So I wouldn't recommend you get this one. Like, there is another one that I do like from the brand that came out in the set before this one. I don't remember the name of it. It's in the drawer. It's not anything special, but I mean, at least it has a decent formula. The formula on this is absolutely horrible. Not what I recommend it at all. Next Colourpop Palace I have to get into. I think these are the first ones that launched in January for the brand. Don't quote me though, but this is the, of course, in the all amethyst. I was not really a fan of either one of these. I have since switched both of them around, if I remember correctly. I think there was a sequin shadow here I took out, and I know I redid this one with other shades that I liked better. So don't be surprised at the color stories that change them. Y'all know how I am. If I don't like the way a Colourpop palette looks, I change it around. So here's what it looks like on the inside. Like I said, I think I only changed one shade around. Don't quote me though. But the form on this was not good at all. I know I'm not the only person who had an issue with this one. I know Angie or Angelica Nicholas here on YouTube was talking about how she had an issue with this palette too. Because first I was like her, like, is this me? Because everybody else is making it seem like it's wonderful. But it's like, I can't be alone, because Angie had the same issues that I had about it not picking up, like the shadows being too pressed too hard in the pan. So that was my issue with this palette. It wasn't the color story wasn't gorgeous. As you can see, the color story is gorgeous. It's fabulous. I thought it was going to be a great purple palette to add to my collection, but because it's pressed so hard, it's like it's not giving me any pigmentation or, you know, working on the eye very well. So I'm kind of just like, Now with the Of Quartz palette, I think I had the same issue with that as well, but as y'all can see, I changed some of the shades around. There's a little basketball in the shade right here. So I'm going to retry this one with the shades I added in it and see if I like it any better. But the fact that I had to change shades and move it around in order to get the formula to work better, to me, is a bad thing, because like that means I have to buy one palette. I should be able to buy whatever palette it is that you came out with and like the formula on. But I'm going to try this one later on. But when I tried it initially, I wasn't impressed with this one or the other one. This one works better than the all amethyst one, because at least it shows up, but I'm just not super impressed with them. So don't be surprised if you see some of them on my Bakerie, and if you want to try them out, be my guest. But a lot of stuff I have to go, honey, because it's not giving. I have the Let's Roll palette. This ended up being like $9, so I honestly just bought it just to have singles out of it, or to make single shadows out of it. It's not going to look the way it's supposed to, because since I bought it to just take singles out of it, I took them out. However, I did try it with the colors that came in it just to see how I like it, and I wasn't impressed with it at all. But here's what she looks like now. I just grabbed a whole bunch of shades out of some palettes that I recreated with in order to get this. Like the On The List palette, I actually took a lot of these shades from here and put in that palette. So this is just a throwaway palette to well, not throwaway, but this is just like a palette to add my shadow. So I'm actually gonna put it in the drawer where I changed all my shadow look now, to remind myself to put it back in there, so when I get more palettes coming in I can switch it out accordingly. But the next one I have is the All Hallows Eve palette. This is Hocus Pocus 2 along with Colourpop. I was not a fan of this palette. I know a lot of people said they really liked it, but I wasn't impressed by it. Like, I like the original one better when it comes to the formula, but I will say this is the best color story out of all three of them. So if I had to pick based on color story, I would definitely pick this one. This one's actually on sale for $12 on Colourpop's website right now. I don't know when y'all, I mean not Colourpop's website, on Ulta's website right now. I don't know when you're going to see this video, but it is on sale for 12 bucks. So if you were interested in it and dare try it out, then be my guest. I'm just not impressed with the formula on this compared to other ones. But you know, that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not my cup of tea. I may save this for singles to redo a palette with too, but knowing me, I'm just gonna hoard it because of the nostalgia of Hocus Pocus 2, and that's my right since I spent my coins. Thank you. Now this brand finally came out with eyeshadows, and I was disappointed in this palette just because I felt like the pigmentation was lacking, and then like the shimmers weren't giving. It was just a whole thing. So this is the Lisa Eldridge eyeshadow palette in the shade Myth. If y'all know, then y'all know I loved the Sorcerer palette. It was just this one that just wasn't like doing what I needed it to do. It was lacking and I wasn't really feeling it. So they were more like satiny shades on the lid. They didn't really give too much of anything. It's more of like luxury high, like, you know, luxury eyeshadow vibe, and y'all know I don't really like the luxury eyeshadow vibe, so I should have just followed my first mind and just bought the Sorcerer one, and that's it, because that's the one I would like the most. But I wanted to give y'all more options when it came to my video, so that's why I ended up buying this one too. But I'm disappointed in this one, and you know, don't be surprised if it pops up on my Bakerie page, because I just don't vibe with it. I don't really like it. I'm not into the subtle eyeshadows, and I don't want to hoard it from somebody else having an opportunity to try it instead of having to wait for it to come all the way from where she is. But I only tried it one time, and it's gonna sit in the drawer right away. That when it comes to luxury makeup, I try to get rid of it because it might brighten someone's day, and they can have a luxury thing, and I have to pay full price for it, because obviously I'm not gonna charge you the $60 I paid for it since I used it once. I might charge like $40 with free shipping or something, since I did literally only use in that video, and I have not touched it since. So you can catch it on my Bakerie eventually. Hopefully I need to put some of that stuff up this weekend, but who knows when I actually get to it. Next I have the Hindash Monochromance palette. I was not a fan of this palette. I tried to like it, but it's like the shades are too mid-tone and lightly pigmented to do anything with. But in all fairness, you're supposed to be able to put them on your face as well, so I'm assuming that's why they're lightly pigmented. But my problem is I feel like they didn't build up to the intensity I wanted to for a eyeshadow, and then it's like, who's putting blue and purple on their face? So I'm just like, who is this really for? I guess it's for a makeup artist who has to do soft looks on an editorial shoot or something like that, because I feel like the color pigmentation is lacking if you're like of a deeper skin tone and you want to build up the shades. Because even Tina the Fancy Face, who's lighting I felt like the shades didn't go deep enough for her, and she went into another palette when I saw her using this palette. So I was disappointed in this. I'm probably going to try it and use this some more just to see on days when I have to rush to work and I want like a wash of color on the eye, just so I can say I wore colorful makeup instead of boring makeup. I'll reach for it, but I want to see if the form is going to improve over time with more palettes. That's the only reason I'm kind of hoarding this one. Plus I really like Hindash's brand. It's just the eyeshadows just aren't giving like they need to be giving. Okay, this next palette I bought because my girl Dr. Ash and her makeup, but she did tell me that the shimmers were kind of finicky, and like, you know, she's talking about from palette to palette how this brand is like kind of inconsistent, if you will, and I totally see it because I've tried 3 palettes from this brand and I like 2 of them, but this is the one that just didn't do it for me. And I should have just followed my first mind and I got it. But here we are. This is the Clarity Cosmetics Bloom palette. Now I love the color story of this palette, and I feel like the mattes in here actually work really nice. My issue is the shimmers being really finicky, because like this really flaky one didn't do it for me, and then I think this one was difficult to work with as well, if I remember. So the mattes in here are really nice. It's just I don't prefer the shimmers in here. That's where this palette lacks for me, and since you know you want everything to work in the palette, just not some things, that's how it ended up in this video. So it's not necessarily that the quality overall is bad, it's just the shimmers aren't giving. They're not giving what I need. They're not giving what I need, and I need the palette as a whole to work, not just me have to go grab some shimmers from somebody else's palette and just be able to use your mattes, because like I could have bought these mattes as a single from the brand and went on with my day. So I'm concerned with buying from this brand in the future, just because I feel like the shimmer and shimmers are not as good sometimes, and then sometimes they hit the mask aren't that good, and I hear like lots of wishy-washy things about it from Karen. And then like I said, I watched Ashley's video, she was saying that the shimmers were finicky in this palette and you had to do a lot with them. So I'm like, that's why I don't really try to review the brand too often, because I did get the Lily palette as well, but I didn't really try to review it because I'm like, I feel like it's like they on a wishy-washy train, and I don't want to be on the wishy-washy train with them. It's like I already have brands I love and they have majority consistency to them, and then they're wishy-washy every once in a full moon like Melt. So it's like I don't want to start off with a brand new brand and you already wishy-washy, you know. So that's why I've been kind of trying to stay away from them and not really be bothered, because they do have nice color stories and all that, but it's like, if you're gonna be wishy-washy and consistent, and in the times we in now, I need to be like focused on, you know, everyday survival life stuff, I'm not finna worry about wishy-washy eyeshadow. So that's why I don't really mess with them that much. But and that's why that eyeshadow palette's in this video, because that's like the first eyeshadow palette I bought from them, and that's what I got from it. So I was like, I think I should just leave you alone. Next, I have the Made by Mitchell Where the Mangoes palette. So I feel like the quality of his eyeshadows has been changing too, because I got the Do You Want Some Milk palette, and it was okay. It wasn't as good as his first two palettes, and then I feel like this one is worse than the first one. Then the like Do You Want Some Milk palette. So I'm kind of just like, I'm kind of thinking I might take a break from this brand, just because I feel like every time I buy an eyeshadow palette, the formula is different than the one before. And it's like, I just want you to keep a consistent eyeshadow formula. So the color story on this is gorgeous. As you can see, it's really nice. It's got the nice green blue moment over here, and then you got like the sunset eye, as they like to call it, on that side. So that's what drew me to the palette, because they had good variety of colors, and it wasn't a traditional rainbow palette, but I still got like, you know, enough rainbowy colory vibe from it. But I don't know, the formula on here was definitely lacking for me. Y'all saw the video where I did the eye look. I was not impressed at all. So I just kind of went ahead and was like, I'm gonna, you know, I want to try that one more time, see how I feel. But it's like, I don't even want to be bothered with it, just because that first time I tried it, I wasn't really impressed, and I think I like just pulled a couple of mattes from it in my other what do you call it, in the other video I did, just to what do you call it, just to not another video, sorry, I grabbed it another day when I was getting ready for work, just to pull in some colors from it to try out the mattes again and see how I felt. And I didn't like the look then, so I'm like, maybe I should just leave you alone, because I'm not feeling it. Okay, so next I have Jacqueline Cosmetics. So I have not like either of the eyeshadow palettes I tried from this brand. Like, to me, this is the Luxe Legacy palette. I bought this because everybody's raving about how nice it was, but I'm like, I must have missed it, because it wasn't giving me anything. Like, it wasn't giving me anything special. It's got a lot of these shades I can't use. It just looks like a giant poor man's version of the Makeup by Mario palette from ABH, and I just wasn't impressed with the quality of this palette. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt when it came to this palette by buying the other palette, because I was like, she said she collaborated with her mom on this one, so her mom got to help in the formula with this. So maybe that won't be the permanent formula. But I feel like that's just the permanent formula she's going with, because it's like, I feel like the, what is this? The Strawberry Fields palette is like about the same formula. It has like those satin matte eyeshadows, and then like those same kind of shimmers, and I wasn't impressed with this either. So it's like, moving forward, I know I just don't need to buy eyeshadow palettes from this brand, because it's like, I'm not impressed with them. You'll actually catch this one on my Bakerie coming soon. I think I got like a video I was going to do in a like overrated versus underrated, showing this with something else that I feel like is better. But after that, like, it's gonna have to go, because I'm not feeling it. Oop, and I'm gonna slid off my lap because it wasn't feeling the disrespect. But oh well, I do better. Yeah, but I'm not really feeling this palette either. Even when it went 50%, I bought mine, I think, like when it first came out, because I wanted to give her a benefit of the doubt and give you all a video and tell you my opinion. But I'm just not impressed with this brand's eyeshadows at all, which I'm kind of disappointed by, because it's like, she does really nice eyeshadow looks, even though she does boring eyeshadow looks, but her techniques are nice. But it's like, if this is the kind of quality you give me on eyeshadow, I don't want it. I don't want it all. I am going to hold on to this one though, just so I can have one in my collection. Because if they say they reformulate their eyeshadows or something like that, I might consider buying it if the color story is right, just so I can, and I want to have this to compare to, you know, the one she comes out with again. Because it seems like the brand is in trouble, or else, you know, they wouldn't be having sales on Morphe every 20 minutes, and her website wouldn't be having sales or whatever. But I don't know if her brand is under that chapter whatever that they filed for, because I heard that Morphe filed for that. So I don't know, but I wasn't feeling her eyeshadow formula at all. And like I said, you're going to catch some of this stuff on Bakerie, just because I'm not here for it. Okay, next, I like this brand. Wait, matter of fact, no. We'll do that as our second to last thing. Sorry. Okay, so the next one I have is from Beauty Bay. This is the Love Notes palette. I hummed and hawed about debating on getting this palette just because I wasn't truly crazy about the color story. I feel like the shades at the top were kind of too light for me, and then it has more of these purples at the bottom and like the kind of wine tone. So I liked the color story, okay. I didn't like it enough to buy it at a regular price. I think I got this when it was like $7 or something like that, because y'all know Beauty Bay has excellent deals on their eyeshadow palettes, and since they have excellent quality, I was like, okay, it's just the color story that didn't draw me in. I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I'm like disappointed in the quality of this palette, or else it wouldn't be in this video, obviously. So I don't know what it was about this one. I just felt like it didn't give the quality that their other palettes have given in the past. I don't know if it's because of the tones they chose for the palette, that's why the formula isn't the same. But it doesn't feel the same to me, in my personal opinion. And I think I've heard other people say they weren't a fan of this palette either. So, I mean, I'm definitely planning on decluttering. I was not impressed by this one. I thought it was going to be like New Romance, and it is not. So, that's why it's a disappointment to me. Like, it was their Valentine's Day palette, I think, I'm pretty sure it was of this year. And I just happened to catch it on sale. But, it was on sale for a reason, honey, okay? The next one I have is the Lowest Cosmetics Meet Me at Midnight palette. So I like their very first palette, the Meet Me in the Underworld. I thought the color story was nice. I thought the formula was beautiful. I don't know what was going on with this one, but I was not impressed by the formula of it. I like the color story though, because it's unique and weird and eclectic and different. But the formula just wasn't there for me when it came to this one. Like, I don't know if it's because of the color she chose in the palette that she had to change the formula up, and it's not giving the same quality it gave the first time. Because the first one had like a lot of neutrals and greens and berries. So I can understand why the formula that would be better, because those are standard shades that lots of people wear. So it's easier to, I guess, find a formula that works well, because those are the standard shades. And when you go to unique and fun color stories, maybe it's harder to get formulas down to work for it. I don't know, but I was not impressed with the formula. I was actually disappointed by it, because I was like, yeah, I know this formula is gonna be fire, and I put on my eyes and I was like, oh, it's not. Again, I'm not the only YouTuber to say that. If I remember correctly, Angelica said like some of the shades in here went patchy on her eyes. I just could tell that the formula on this one, in my personal opinion, wasn't the same as Meet Me in the Underworld, and I was kind of disappointed by it. So, I mean, I'm going to keep it around just to see if the formula changed on her next fun, colorful palette. But I don't know what's going on with this brand, because I follow them on Instagram, and like, I haven't heard anything from them in quite a while. So I'm hoping she didn't have to close down because of, you know, the economy right now. But, you know, if she did, she should do what's best for her, and hopefully she'll come back with some unique and fun stuff in the future. So I'm not saying the brand's closed down. Don't say I'm saying it's closed down. What I'm saying is I haven't seen anything from the brand in a while, and I'm wondering if that's what's going on behind the scenes, and she just hasn't made an announcement yet. So the last palette I have to talk about absolutely hurts my soul, because y'all know I always rave about this brand. I talked about this brand. I actually told you all to buy 2 palettes from this brand, even though the brand had closed down temporarily to catch up on orders, instead of buying the palettes from the other brands, because I thought their color stories were the same, and I thought they had just as good quality as those other brands. But if you all remember in this video, like I told you at the beginning of this video, that one of the shades came so hard pressed that I couldn't even pick it up on a brush when it got to me. And there's no way I should pay $50 for this palette and I can't use all the eyeshadows in it. Even if I don't want to use all of them, I should be able to use all of them. So this is the Unearthly Cosmetics, the Weirdos palette. And it's weird enough, this was the one that I was most excited about getting. I ended up liking So Strange the best, if you all remember that video. But if you all remember the shade Glamorous, it is so hard pressed in the pan. I mean, look at that. You can see I scratched the crap out of it just to get it to come off on my lid in the video. I saw another girl in the comment section talking about the same thing happened to her. I guess I'm gonna take some Duraline and try to use in here to get this to work, but like, it was so hard pressed, I was not feeling it at all. And that was the shade, one of the shades I was excited about, because it has a dual shifting shade that looks really cool, but I can't even use it. It's like just dry, like, see, nothing. There's nothing on my finger. Absolutely nothing. So that's literally the only thing that put this palette in this video. Everything else in the palette worked fine, but the fact that I can't use all the shades and this palette cost me $50 is a problem for me. So that's what makes it worse to me. Now, of course, I'm gonna keep it in my collection. Like I said, I might try to get some Duraline and see if I can fix that and whatever, but I just no. No good. So those are the palettes I had that I thought were bad in the year of 2022. You can comment down below and tell me what you think of these. I'm sorry if you like some of them. It's just they didn't work out for what my makeup preference is, and those are my honest thoughts. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.